Welcome back. All right, so the Hall of Fame class of 2023 is now known. The worst kept secret being Henrik Lundqvist headlining it. I did see some comments along the lines of, well, what did Lundqvist do? He doesn't belong in the Hall. Why would he be in the Hall? The reality is 459 wins. That's a ton, and that does help put you into the Hall of Fame. He also played in 5 All-Star games. He won the Vezina Trophy in 2012. He was a first team All Star in 2012, a second team All Star in 2013, so there's some consistency there as well. He is sixth on the list of all time wins with those 459. He had 9 seasons where he was in the top 10 in wins, 8 seasons where he's top 10 in goals against average, and 7 seasons he was top 10 in save percentage. Remarkably consistent numbers from Lundqvist. He also won gold with Sweden in 2006 at the Olympics, and 2014 he won silver. So in the World Championship picture in 2017, he had gold. 2003 and 2004, he had a bronze medal there. And then at the World Cup of Hockey in 2016, he had a bronze. So Swedish goaltending, Henrik Lundqvist, these were two things that absolutely went together for over a decade. So Lundqvist is in the Hall. He's the headliner. Who else is there? Pierre Turgeon. I'm surprised by Turgeon. I really am. I didn't think Turgeon had much of a chance. And I do wonder if this is purely based on points. And I say that because Turgeon was never a dominant player in the NHL. He was never really a top 5 guy either. I know there were years where his point totals were really good, but considering, all the players that were in the league at that point, he was never really a top flight guy. 1,294 career games, 515 goals, 812 assists, and 1,327 points. The overall totals would tell you he belongs there. He did play in 4 All-Star games. He is 40th all-time in goals, 32nd all-time in assists, 34th all-time in points. He won a Lady Byng in 1993. That's the only hardware he had in his career. So he never had Hart, never won an Art Ross. And again, I know the era that he played in and how difficult it would have been to unseat a guy named Lemieux or Gretzky, but the reality is that Turgeon has been overlooked for a while. So this is the committee putting somebody in who has had trouble getting in, and then 2 others as well. And deciding 3 goaltenders should headline this class. Tom Barrasso is the second goalie name. 369 career wins, 2 Stanley Cups, the back-to-back Cup wins in Pittsburgh in 91 and 92. He won the Vezina Trophy in 1984. That was a fantastic year. Won the Calder as well. So he was a top draft pick for the Buffalo Sabres, and he was dynamite that first year, and then it was really hard for him to live up to that after that. He did win a Jennings in 1985, of course, for lowest goals against average. 1984, he's a first-team All-Star. 1985 and 1993, he's a second-team All-Star. He is 20th on the all-time wins list. He has 4 seasons where he was top 10 in goals against average, 6 seasons where he was top 10 in save percentage, and he had Olympic silver in 2002. So Barrasso's career a solid one, and Mike Vernon named as well. Vernon, 385 career wins, 2 Stanley Cups for him, 1 in Calgary, 1 in Detroit. 1997 Conn Smythe winner. So after all those years of Detroit not being able to get over the hump, he's the MVP the year they do. 1996 he won the Jennings Trophy. He is in 5 All-Star games. 1989 he was a second team All-Star. That was of course the year Calgary won the Stanley Cup. He is 16th on the all-time wins list. 4 seasons where he was top 10 in goals against average. 2 seasons where he's top 10 in save percentage. He had silver at the Worlds in 1991, and at the World Juniors in 1983, he had a bronze medal. There will be complaints about the resumes of some of these players because of who was overlooked. McGillney, Elias, Brindamore, Zetterberg, Osgood, amongst others, all overlooked in this class of Hall of Fame. And again, honestly, the one that surprises me a little bit is Turgeon. Not as much Barrasso as Vernon. Like yesterday I said, Barrasso would get a vote for me if I was on the committee, so I'm not, but he would have. But those are your 4 players. That's the limit. They can't induct more than 4. And so we'll see whether or not any of the other snubs end up getting in subsequent seasons. I am kind of surprised by Zetterberg. I'm very surprised by McGillney. It felt like there was a push this year to get McGillney into the Hall, and it just didn't get there. So I guess McGillney's not going to be a Hall of Famer then. And yet, saying that, Turgeon appeared to be in that picture as well, and now he's in. Now, in the builders category, you have Ken Hitchcock, 849 career wins behind the bench for Hitchcock. He won the Jack Adams Trophy in 2012. He is 4th on the all-time list for wins amongst NHL coaches. And of course, he had a Stanley Cup with the Dallas Stars in 1999. So Hitchcock's resume absolutely qualifies him as a builder to be put into the Hall of Fame. Pierre Lacroix also gets put in. He passed away, sadly, December 13th of 2020, but his resume is really strong. He was president and general manager of the Quebec Nordiques and saw them through the transition to become the Colorado Avalanche, and made some pretty big deals too. He was the general manager from 94 to 06. 1996, of course, the Stanley Cup in Denver. That first year, the Avalanche came into existence, and then a second Cup win in 2001. So yes, he was quite the builder and took over a Quebec team that looked ready to do something special, and then they did when they became the Colorado Avalanche. Also, Carolyn Ouellette. So we have 2 women are allowed to be put into the Hall. It's usually been 1. This year it's Carolyn Ouellette. 4 gold medals at the Olympic Games, 6 gold and 6 silver medals at the IIHF World Championships. She is one of only 5 athletes, and 2 of her teammates are amongst those 5 athletes as well, to win gold at 4 consecutive Olympic Games. So that's a pretty strong resume right there, and there's the discussion to be had as well about whether or not women are underrepresented in the Hall of Fame. But there are going to be a lot of discussions today about who didn't get in. And it feels like we have that every year, that the discussion's more about who didn't get in than who did. But again, there's no transparency from the committee that decides on who gets in and who doesn't. We don't have any public viewing of any debates that go on or anything. So your guess is as good as mine as to why some of these names fell short. So who was the biggest snub? Who was the biggest surprise? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.